But do you think that Jennifer Soto knows more? Was Jen a good mother?
I don't know how I can excuse this. I don't know how I can excuse this. I don't know the whole truth, though. I need to hear more. I need to hear more to answer that question.
Shannon Butler, WFTV Tonight.
Okay, I wanted to go over these interviews with you really quickly. Well, everything I could grab so far from WFTV. So they are out of Orlando, Channel 9 in Orlando. They've been getting some great interview videos regarding the Madeline Soto case. So the thing is, they've got 90 minutes worth of interviews, but they're in snippets. They've been displaying them in snippets so far. I hope they end up publishing all of them. So now, since Madeline Soto's bio dad has come out, he's given his name. I'll say his name too, now that he's coming out for the first time speaking publicly. His name is Tyler Wallace, and his wife, who is Madeline's stepmom and Madeline's grandmom on Tyler's side.
I want to know the truth. I want to know all of the truth.
I've only seen snippets from Tyler so far, just in case I'm missing any, but I've gotten what I can. So what we've learned so far is a bit about the whole complicated relationship, as the reporter called the relationship between Maddie and her bio dad. Hopefully they'll get more into that so we can learn what that's about.
Yeah, it was a difficult interview for him, but he wanted people to know about his daughter and even their sometimes complicated relationship.
But this interview with Madeline's bio dad, we learned that as soon as he found out Maddie was missing, that very next morning he was on the road. So he found out Monday, February 26th. Jennifer, his baby mom as it was, because they were never married. In fact, it looks like a whole lot of court drama between them in the months after Maddie was born. But anyway, as soon as Jennifer called Tyler and said, hey, Maddie's missing, he's going to explain how he kind of waited around that day, just itching to hear information. Maybe they thought, maybe Maddie was over a friend's house or something, and he was waiting and waiting and waiting, and since they couldn't find her that Monday, he jumped in the truck, or the car as it were, whatever he drives, headed all the way over from Texas over to Central Florida.
He says the morning after he was told Maddie was missing, he got on the road and drove straight through from Texas to Central Florida, 14 hours looking for his daughter.
The next morning, he got in his car and drove from Texas to Florida, only stopping for gas. But shortly after he got here, Madeline Soto's body was found in this rural area of Osceola County.
It took him 14 hours, and he drove basically nonstop. He only stopped for gas. Hopefully, since they have so much footage, they have 90 minutes worth of footage, apparently. That's how long they sat down and spoke with Madeline's family. Hopefully, they'll put the full raw video on their YouTube channel. I can't find it yet. I haven't found it anywhere. I think WFT has like a 6 p.m. broadcast, a 10 p.m. broadcast, an 11 p.m. broadcast. I missed the 11 p.m. last night. I was, watching phone calls from prison, that whole drama with the Nesto Williams case. I was falling asleep. So I think I've gotten snippets, thankfully, from right after they did the interview.
We spoke with him in just the past couple of hours, and he says he talked to his daughter on February 22nd, which was her birthday, and 2 days before she disappeared.
A little bit of the 6 p.m. broadcast, a little bit of the 10 p.m. broadcast. So I'll play what I have throughout this video. Fair use. WFT has been pretty cool, I think, with us YouTubers using fair use. Unlike Univision, I had to go through all kinds of things, flipping their video and darkening it and zooming in, and I had it redubbed. And talk about transforming. I really transformed, thank God, in order to beat that copyright claim. But Shannon Butler, she is the WFT reporter. She asked all the right questions of Tyler. And Tyler, she said, has confidence that whoever killed Maddie, that person will be brought to justice. The public just has to be patient.
Confidence that investigators will bring whoever killed his daughter to justice.
Shannon, he's certainly got to be frustrated and heartbroken.
Yeah, it was a difficult interview. The last time Tyler Wallace saw his daughter was in October, but he said he did talk to her on her birthday. That was just days before she was reported missing. He said he had no idea it would be the last time. He told me it was Jen Soto who called him to let him know that Maddie was dropped off at school, but then never made it. So he got in his truck, came to Florida right away to help look for her. In the meantime, a man he knew was in his daughter's life was charged with sexual battery. Just as that news set in, Maddie's body was then found dumped in the woods in Osceola County. And he's urging the public to be patient. He has confidence that investigators will bring whoever killed Madeline Soto to justice.
Apparently, Tyler is still in town. I don't know if he, left and came back. He's in town in Central Florida because they're having a vigil for Maddie. I was thinking to myself, I'll bet you Jennifer doesn't show up to that vigil. She's probably afraid for her life with, all the anger and the ire that people are throwing at her because they think she knew more about what was going on in their household. And what was going on? Well, there was a cordial relationship, the reporter says, between Tyler, Jennifer, and Stefan.
Her dad told me today that he did have a cordial relationship with both Jen Soto and Stefan Stearns through this ordeal. But coming up at 6, we will have much more on what he has to say about both of them now and what he said his daughter's demeanor was in those hours before her death. Greg.
Yeah, and your reporting has shown just some disturbing years before her death had happened to her.
And the last time Tyler actually saw Maddie was in October, so I believe she means October 2023. And the last time he talked to her was on her birthday. So apparently Tyler had talked to his daughter Maddie on Thursday, February 21st. And by that Monday, Jennifer's calling him saying, our daughter's missing. We don't know where she is.
Tyler Wallace had last spoken to his daughter on her birthday. He had no idea it would be the last time.
So that's when he was waiting and waiting and waiting, and he couldn't take it any longer, jumped in his vehicle, came to Florida to try and figure out what was happening. It's so sad. The part where Tyler says, I just can't grasp it.
How did you find out?
I was informed through a phone call from Jennifer that she was missing. We weren't sure if she was actually missing or if she was staying at a friend's house at the time. We were trying to wait to see if she showed up, and by the second day I couldn't wait anymore. So I drove down to Florida. I love what I had of her, but we were supposed to have so much more, and I can't grasp it. I can't grasp it.
He repeats that. I just can't grasp it. He just can't even understand what happened. Of course, he doesn't have all the details. He's visited police.
Tyler met with Kissimmee police about their ongoing investigation.
He doesn't know what happened. Perhaps WFTV will publish the whole raw video with Maddie's dad and her stepmom and her grandmom, because they did it previously when Stefan Stearns and Jennifer Soto spoke with the news station. Eventually, they published that whole thing. But Tyler, he said, I love what I had of her, but we were supposed to have so much more. That was heartbreaking too, because indeed, Maddie was only 13. And you can imagine Tyler being this loving dad to a 13-year-old daughter, and then all of a sudden, poof, one day she's gone. He races into town, and pretty soon he gets the news that Jennifer's boyfriend, Stefan, has been arrested, and then soon after, they find Maddie's body. But Shannon says that Tyler wanted people to know about his daughter and even their sometimes complicated relationship. So I was wondering if she was alluding to kind of the drama I published in my previous deep dive into Stearns. Was she talking about when I mentioned, Jennifer and Tyler went to court? It's all public records. In the months after Maddie was born, there was the establishment of DNA, I'm sure to ensure, I don't blame them. They want to know exactly who's the father here. And there were wage garnishments and stuff like that. So I've linked to that video below if you haven't seen it, and I'll touch on it a little bit more here. So Tyler took a deep breath when Shannon said to him, tell me about your daughter.
Tell me about your daughter.
Maddie was just the most important person to my wife and I. She was just full of joy.
So he said Maddie was just the most important person to my wife and I, just full of joy. So he's careful with his words. I'm sure he doesn't necessarily know a lot, but he doesn't want to say too much, say the wrong thing. But Tyler said, I was informed through a phone call from Jennifer that she was missing.
How did you find out?
I was informed through a phone call from Jennifer that she was missing.
What was her demeanor?
Jennifer's?
Was she calm? Was she freaking out?
I would say anxious.
And so Shannon asked, well, what was Jennifer's demeanor? And he's like, Jennifer? Shannon's like, yeah, was she calm? Was she freaking out? And Tyler said, no, I would say she was anxious. So at that point, Jennifer sounded anxious. And then a really good question. Did your daughter ever indicate that something was going on in that house? And look at the way he answers. He says,
did your daughter ever indicate that something was going on in that house?
Not to me, no.
Not to me, no. So I wonder, did he say, no, Maddie never indicated anything to me, no. But, like the rumors are claiming, did his wife, Maddie's stepmom, did she suspect a little bit more? I remember reading on Facebook that Maddie's stepmom may have suspected something's not right. Maybe she knew, women's intuition picking up like Holy Spirit gut led, something's not right with Maddie. And rumors are claiming that she may have asked Maddie or tried to press Maddie to say what's going on. And Maddie reportedly never revealed to her what Stefan was doing. Just poor Maddie. I think of just so much that little girl had to deal with.
What did you think of Stefan Stearns?
I had interacted with him on Instagram a couple of times loosely, just kind of seeing if he gave me the ick or if he seemed okay. And as far as I was interpreting his demeanor, he seemed like a warm, interested, but like not responsive, very often person.
What do you think of him now?
I don't want to say that on camera. I can't communicate to you. Every father knows what I'm thinking right now.
So, Shannon said, what did you think of Stefan Stearns? Tyler said, I had interacted with him on Instagram a couple of times loosely, just kind of like seeing if he gave me the ick or if he seemed okay. Makes sense. You want to make sure, okay, who's this guy Jennifer's dating? Is he going to be all right around my daughter? Well, Tyler said, as far as I was interpreting his demeanor, he seemed like a warm, interested, but not like very responsive, very often person. So I guess Stefan was able to put it on a little bit. I don't know if they were DMing each other or something like, hey man, how are you, or whatever. And if Stefan just responded or did he comment on things, and Tyler picked up the vibe like, okay, he seems warm and interested, but he's not the kind of guy who's going to be texting you or replying to you all the time. That's the way I took it. What do you think of him now? That's what Shannon asked. And Tyler said, I don't want to answer that on camera. I cannot communicate to you. I can imagine. Every father knows what I'm thinking right now, he said. And yeah, I can imagine what he's thinking. I wouldn't even want to know what he's thinking. Just the anger he probably has against Stearns. And maybe even unwarranted anger against himself for not picking up, for not pressing Matt. And I don't know if they battled. I don't know what the custody arrangements were like. I don't know if Jennifer kept Maddie from him and his wife. I think there were some rumors claiming that. So I don't know. Did Jennifer make it difficult or not for Tyler to see Maddie more often? And if Tyler and his wife, were they given the opportunity to see Maddie more often? And if so, would Maddie have felt comfortable? Like, let's say if they had the kind of relationship where Maddie could have gone and spent the whole summer in Texas with her dad and stepmom, well, then that might have given her a break and ample opportunity to tell them, open up to them about what she'd been going through. And so I don't know if that ever happened. And I feel sad Maddie didn't get the opportunity to just escape. And maybe Maddie had complex feelings. Maybe she, of course, loved her mom and grandmom in Florida, loved her friends in that area. Maybe she didn't want to move to Texas. I don't know what this complicated relationship is going to be about. But apparently, according to the reporter, Tyler had met with Kissimmee police. This must have been on Thursday, April 11th, 2024. He met with Kissimmee police about their ongoing investigation. Now, Shannon asked Tyler, do you think that Jennifer Soto knows more? Now, that's this point. He kind of unconsciously, in a way, says yes with his body language. He's shaking his head up and down.
But do you think that Jennifer Soto knows more?
I don't know, and I am interested in knowing, but I don't have reason to believe one way or the other right now. These are the things that the investigators are looking into.
And now he won't get that chance. Instead, he's here to take the little girl's ashes home to be with him now.
As if he's unconsciously saying, yeah, she knows more. But his mouth, of course, holds back and says, I don't know, and I'm interested in knowing, but I don't have reason to believe one way or the other right now. These are the things that the investigators are looking into. Of course, he's staying neutral. Inside, he might be thinking, aha, I knew something was going on. I knew she picked this loser and blah, blah, blah. And of course, he can't say that. I'm sure he doesn't want to add fuel to the fire of hate out there already directed at Jennifer. And he has to be cautious because police aren't telling us anything really. So we don't know what Jennifer knew. So we can't, he's playing it smart. He's not in these interviews we've seen, these snippets of Tyler. He's not saying, yeah, I hate her, blah, blah, blah. You know, he's not directing all this ire towards Jennifer. He's like saying he just doesn't know. He doesn't know one way or the other. He doesn't have reason to believe, but we know he's probably thinking something different. He just doesn't want to say it in his gut. Because what if Jennifer's never arrested? What if she didn't know anything? Or what if she's never arrested? Of course, he doesn't want to badmouth her all publicly. And he doesn't want to be wrong. None of us want to be wrong, but he's holding back. He's waiting for cops to talk. So according to Shannon, she says there's so much more to that interview. We sat with that family for about 90 minutes and they're trying to get Maddie's ashes. I thought that was interesting, and they want to go to the Vigil.
There's so much more to that interview. We sat with that family for about 90 minutes today. They are in town not only to try to get those ashes, but there is a community vigil tomorrow that they are planning on attending. They just couldn't believe how much community support they did receive.
You asked the questions that so many are asking, and this is another question. Does the father of Maddie wonder why no murder charges have been filed yet? It seems like that should be the logical next step.
So he met with investigators yesterday down at Kissimmee Police. He said he didn't get a lot of information. This is an ongoing investigation. But he said he needs to be patient. So does everybody. He believes that these things will come at some point, but he realizes this is a heavy lift for Kissimmee Police, and he's not wondering why. He's just waiting for them.
Yeah, because it doesn't seem like it's not going to happen. It's just when.
Yes, but he does have a lot of other questions about the investigation, about things that happened. Those we'll get to later on.
I can't wait to see the rest of that interview. Great reporting there, incredible insight from, Maddie's biological father.
Wow, what a story. All right. In Seminole County, today Maddie's dad told our Shannon Butler he has confidence that investigators will bring whoever killed his daughter to justice.
So hopefully Tyler was able to get Maddie's ashes. I don't know if Jennifer has them or who has possession of them. The news reporters did say Tyler did not get a lot of info from Kissimmee Police. That makes sense. Tyler believes these things will come, like murder charges, they will come. He's not wondering, I guess, clamoring like a lot of people, why hasn't anyone been charged with her murder yet? But he does want more information about what happened. I guess he's trusting in they're getting their ducks in a row. The charges will come through. So that's why, the calls for patience are out there. So the last time I checked the court docket, it was earlier today, Saturday, April 13th. I saw a notice of intent to rely on certified records. That appears in the case dockets. It's dated April 10th. So I guess that's a legal document that's been filed in some cases. So they give an example just of what this definition means. It does not mean that this is what's happening, of course, in this case, but in a different case in 2020, the state of Florida filed a notice of intent to rely on certified records that listed the defendant's prior convictions and records obtained from Facebook, Yahoo, and Snapchat. So those businesses were subpoenaed for records. So I've never been able to find any criminal history for Stefan Stearns, but that notice of intent to rely on certified records is probably some kind of subpoena for, Stefan's Snapchat records and Facebook records and who knows, Telegram, all these different apps and whatever he was using. I'm sure they want to know what the heck Stefan was up to. They want all this evidence. And I'm hoping and praying that if Stefan, chances are he likely shared those videos and photos horrifically of Maddie with different people, maybe huge trafficking rings or something. So I'm hoping, even in her death, that Maddie, you don't want any of her suffering to be in vain. You don't want it to have happened in the first place, of course. Since she did go through this suffering, I hope she takes down a whole bunch of people with Stearns. If he was sharing it, if he was providing it to some ring or whatever's being done with that kind of stuff, those images and videos, I hope it takes down a lot of people and prevents a lot of victims, because people who are actively looking at stuff like that involving children and sharing it or what have you, Lord knows what they're doing to children in real life and everything. So I hope maybe that's what's taking time. Maybe it's busting up some huge ring of people along with determining who will have the murder charges in this case. And, they called it a heavy lift. So the reporter called it, even though Tyler didn't get a lot of info from Kissimmee Police, the reporter called it a heavy lift for the Kissimmee Police Department. It's a lot to go through. It's a lot. And then we have the prosecutor speaking out, and that transcribed video I did, the previous one on this case where he's talking about Maddie is the only victim he believes. So I don't know everything they have to dig into, but God, I hope that they're able to find it all. I don't know if Tyler's going to talk about the case, Jennifer Soto versus Tyler Wallace. It was a paternity determination case. So there was a summons issued way back on June 3rd, 2011. So that's only, almost 4 months after Maddie was born. There was a financial affidavit, all these things determining there were exhibits, and all this stuff, of course, is private since it's based on a custody type family court thing. And then there were these Department of Revenue intercept credits and all these things. And the last entry is dated March 13th, 2024. It's just so sad, just knowing. I just really feel for the family. So I will keep trying and checking, and I suggest you look at the links I'll put below to try and watch WFTV Channel 9 live, like if you can catch it. I don't know if I have all their broadcast times, and they have all these different 24/7 and all these different videos you can click on. Hopefully eventually they'll just upload the whole interview, make it easy for us on YouTube and find it there. And then I even downloaded their app and I turned on their alerts. I'm trying to figure out where the whole interview is and when they're going to be broadcasting it. So I'll try and grab what I can so we can talk about it again in a fair use way. So thankfully they're playing fair with us. And thankfully more and more information about the case of Maddie Soto is coming out. I don't want her to be, lost by the wayside. At least Stefan was caught in what he did to her at this point. Which is better than I can say in some cases. Like, I still think of Summer Wells, the little girl who went missing out of Tennessee, just years, and we don't know what happened to her. She's never been found yet. I just hate to see cases like that. You hate to see people, it feels like they're forgotten, but we know God has not forgotten any one of us. Saying that, let's close with Ezekiel 48:35. The distance around the city shall be 18,000. That's 4 times 4,500 cubits. And the name of the city from that day and ever after shall be The Lord is There. Stay tuned. Again, I'm digging into this case, even cases I look into and I follow closely, like Sebastian Rogers and even those moms out of Kansas. All these cases I'm keeping up on and trying to, collect research on, even if I don't always get to make a video out of them. I like to research and find the facts. So stay tuned. We'll see what's next. I'll see how much of this interview with Maddie Soto's bio dad I can catch, and we can talk about more. Thanks so much for watching.
Was Jen a good mother?
I don't know how I can excuse this. I don't know how I can excuse this. I don't know the whole truth, though. I need to hear more. I need to hear more to answer that question.
Shannon Butler, WFTV Tonight.
I love what I had of her, but we're supposed to have so much more.